Baltic Dry Index. This one is really getting interesting because just as a reminder of the history of the Baltic Dry Index. Come on. Got to treat these Similog charts with kid gloves. So the Baltic Dry Index in May of 2008 was at 11,793. This is a Similog chart. By the time it finished an A, triangle for B, expanding diagonal for C, it bottomed at 290. 290. It was at 11,793. This isn't even really a leveraged product. 11,793 down to 290. And that was in the first quarter of 2016, a very large cycle trough. And then from that low there, I think that the Baltic Dry Index gave us an impulse to the upside. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, triangle for 4, 5. It's rough, but anyway, 5-wave structure up. Followed by a 3-wave, a wave A B that was almost hit the normal 1.382 times the length of wave A. That peak was in September of 2019, and then a plunge in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. The end of wave 2, that was in May of this year. So the Baltic Dry Index didn't bottom in March, it bottomed in May of this year, and then had this really strong move up into July that I'm counting. And so, in other words, from the 2016 low, 1, 2, 1, 2, potentially very, very bullish. And most of these troughs, they're 40-week cycle trough due in November, December timeframe. So I've been looking for this move to the downside, and it moved down in 3 waves. A, made a slight new high for wave B, and if I were to draw a typical Fibonacci target, take it out of Similog, then I'll draw the fib. This will be a good lesson in fib drawing. 3 waves down for an A, slight new high for a B, and we're going to color this blue, and we're going to look for a 1.618 wave C to the downside. And another fib that I can use is a Fibonacci expansion of wave A, and look for wave C to be 0.382 times 0.382 expansion off the bottom of wave A. Now we'll turn it back to Similog. And now you can see that target zone is down around 982 there, I guess. This, and then I'm going to color this fib black. So we don't get them mixed up. Now we'll turn it back. And so that generally sends it back down to about 982. But when we turn it back to Similog, we're looking a little higher. 1075. down to 220. Look at, oh yeah, anywhere from 1075 on Baltic Dry to 1038. So there's the target zone. And we closed at 1196. So this is definitely making its way down to that target zone. And that would mean that the 0.382 retrace would be about where we're looking there. So there's the little tiny target zone for Baltic Dry, and so that is only percentage wise approximately 11% lower than where it's at right now. So we're definitely coming into an area that is a potential buy. Let's see. Last week I showed you SFL, one of the individual stocks, shipper stocks. There's a weekly chart, weekly candles. I'm going to copy that and use that again. And we're really, really close to price zone where I'm expecting a bottom down around $6.14. We've already hit it once. We might go just a little bit lower, maybe a tad under $6. And then that would be a 40-week cycle trough. Notice that yet another item with a major low in March. But in this case, the item originally went up only through early May and then has moved all the way back down to the March low. I haven't done any Elliott wave on the rest of the, and what I've done here is I've taken Greg's list on shippers. I'll just flash them real quick. This list here, and I've taken all of these, what he's calling the bread and butter choices, and I put charts on them. I'm not sure why those are bread and butter choices, Greg. I don't know if that's because of fundamentals or they're the most beat down, or I don't know how you were able to code them as bread and butter. Maybe you could add just a little bit of flavor in the chat on why you consider those the bread and butter. But when I start looking through, there's one of those tickers might be a Canadian ticker because I couldn't find it. But GNK put in a low back in 2016, August 2016, and it might be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure up, but this certainly looks like an ABC to the downside to $4.27, and it kind of stopped going down there. So that one's interesting. And what I've got on this is the weekly. These are not only weekly candles. It's the trend following template, but on a weekly chart. And It's currently on a sell. This if I were going to characterize this move to the upside, I might characterize it as a leading diagonal, in which case I would look for a bigger pullback. But I think we probably have a low in place. So a 0.618 pullback on GNK would take us down into maybe early December to 547, and we'll see how this works out. But that could be the end of wave 2. And notice that the MACD is looking negative, and we're on a sell signal right there. NAT, North American Tanker, put in its low, multi-year low back in September of 2019, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure out of there, and then an enormous flat A, B. So I would look for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down structure here for a completed potential buy on that one. Oh, so analysts that cover it are forecasting 54% price increase over the next 20 months, and there's 8 analysts, Williams says. Oh, and Greg says that the choices of the bread and butter was that they had survived through this nastiness and have great fundamentals moving forward. Just another quick look at a few things. Eagle bulk shipping. I'm not sure that really looks like a 5 to the upside. It could have been through here, and now we're getting a flat. Matter of fact, that's probably the way I would characterize it. So 1, 2, 3, probably need a 4 and a 5 down. Look, back to around 12, 14, something like that. Salt, Scorpio Bulkers, like that name. It's currently at a low. This kind of looks like it might have been a triangle back here. And so this was the beginning of a thrust out of a triangle. We're looking for a 5-wave structure down from there. It's getting kind of messy to the downside. And there was probably 1 and a 2 up in here somewhere. This would be 3 and 4. I doubt that it's quite finished going down, but might be an ending diagonal. Yeah. A, B, C for 1, 2, A, B, C for 3, and a 4. And so typically on an ending diagonal, you'll get a little throw over of that line at the very end of the move. And then that'll be the end of it. These are Simulog charts, by the way. Many of these items are so smacked down that if you look at a really long-term chart, if you don't put it on Simulog, they just look like they've gone to sleep. Many of these remind me very much of the old 12 or 11 quarter stocks, Robert Mann's system. I used to have a website dedicated to it, and when I saw some of these charts, and took them out of Simulog mode, yeah, they look like they're putting an extremely long basing. You have to put them in Simulog in order to even, come up with an Elliott wave count on them. Whoops. Boom. So there's TK. That might have been the end of a triangle. And then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so if I was going to look for a Fibonacci target, I'd look for wave 5 to be 0.618 times. It's already dropped below that, so I might look for it to be extended. So this one's getting awfully close to a Fibonacci target, right at $1.56, where, whoops, oh man. It's so important to have these charts in Simulog mode. And then we want that target, not the 0.618. So we want an extended fifth wave target. Target for a bottom on this is $1.54, and it's at $1.76. SBLK. This one has done much nicer, up from the early 2016 low. This looks like a lot of things where the first quarter of 2016 low was a major low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure up here, and then an A, B, C, very close to a 0.618 retrace. This one may have already bottomed, and we might have a finish of a little bit more of a pullback here before we move higher. But yeah, it 5 waves up followed by a 0.618 retrace. It's fun to look at new stocks and to look at something other than the same old indices all the time. And notice this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that low right there is not going to be taken out at 386. And then probably a 5 wave up structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by an A, B, C flat. If it gets this down into the 556 range here over the next little bit, then it looks good for a buy. Yet here's the beautiful thing about these is I can very quickly during the webinars moving forward. These are weekly candles, and so this this is the trend following system. And so it will only offer up new signals once a week, and it'll be on the weekends. So I'll be able to show you when we get actual trend following buy signals on a number of these stocks. But these do look very interesting, I must say. Then NM, I'm not sure this one is as clean. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It may have to move a bit lower. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'd say a pretty good target on this one would be 113. And we would need a 5-wave structure down from, I think, this low, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's a 1 and a 2. There's obviously the 3, 4, and a 5. So, you know what's interesting about a lot of these stocks is I'm not sure how much volume you normally see in these stocks, but the Elliott waves are fairly clear in them. So I've got a target zone on NM somewhere between 89 cents and $1.13. Very interesting. These could be the next gold miners. You know, the gold miners are obviously well off their lows, way up off their lows. But these stocks, for as a general rule, are quite low. Greg says there are lots more good ones. If we do get commodity inflation, as we recover from the global slowdown, the shippers that are left standing will make a fortune. Love it. So that's something new this week, and you know the poor folks that are just on screenshots, that aren't on, that don't spend that extra $30 a month to get the pro plan, going to miss out. Gonna miss out on this opportunity. I might record just this section of coverage on the Baltic Dry and maybe put it up as a blog post to get a few more interested in what's going on. But yeah, on a weekly chart, we should see some buy signals coming through that I can actually show you on real time on weekly charts on these. And I think weekly is good enough for buy signals on that sector. Very interesting.